It's Overreaction Monday, so let's start off by overreacting in the comment section. Both of these guys struggled yesterday against the 49ers. So do you want to cut one of them? Do you want to cut both of them? Get in the comment section and overreact right now. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Gerard. As obviously we know, New Orleans fell short 26-21 yesterday. And on Mondays, we like to do our Overreaction Monday segment. So, of course, it's going to get a little bit outlandish. That's the entire point of today's video. Overreaction number one, let's start off with where we got started with this video. Cut Juwan Johnson. Look, I am not going to sit here and say that I was very pleased with Juwan Johnson yesterday. And as somebody who's been a Juwan Johnson believer and a Juwan Johnson supporter for quite some time now, yesterday was not exactly what you wanted to see. Obviously, you have to address the fact that he did make a play when he needed him to. Spencer Rattler was able to just throw up a jump ball. Juwan Johnson goes and gets it, climbs the ladder, comes down with the catch. Beautiful touchdown catch for what it's worth. That was awesome. But there was multiple drops. I mean, it's hitting him right in the numbers, going right through his hands. You're making $10 million a year. Kellen Moore raved about Juwan Johnson, was excited to bring him back. I was excited to have him back in free agency. But yesterday just wasn't enough. And yesterday didn't do enough for me to be like, yep, that's our tight end one. That guy is definitely the guy that we need to have leading the charge in the tight end room. It makes me just feel like tight end is still a major, major need going into next year. I will say I miss Foster Moreau. I miss Taysom Hill because, if they're around, I think that this is a much different conversation. I will also add, even if you want to cut Juwan Johnson, if you want to get him off the roster, can't afford to. Contractually, it doesn't make any sense to do that right now. And on top of that, you also just don't have the depth to do that. On your active roster, you have Juwan Johnson as your tight end 1, Maliki Mataval, your tight end 2, and Jack Stoll as your tight end 3. Now, I am not in the business of cutting Juwan Johnson so we can start Maliki Mataval, Jack Stoll, and wait for Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill to get healthy. I don't think that makes much sense. I think that would be a really silly approach. And to be totally honest, I will say the very, very big redeeming quality for Juwan Johnson was the fact that he was able to come down with the touchdown catch in week 2. Week 1, obviously, left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Again, I'm a firm believer that week 1 was more of a great pass breakup than an egregious drop. Week 2, there was some egregious drops, but there was also a really clutch touchdown. It's an overreaction, I know. Juwan Johnson did not do himself any favors, had 2 drops, 2 very, very bad drops for what it's worth, and got to find ways to be more consistent. You got to be a more consistent tight end to justify the money and to justify the contract spot in New Orleans, or the roster spot in New Orleans, I should say. Overreaction number 2, sticking with where we started off. Bench Blake Grupe, start Charlie Smyth. Look, Blake Grupe, I am not happy. I am not happy right now. Consistent. Was so consistent. Mr. Consistency. That was the one theme of Blake Grupe all summer, all preseason, training camp, mini camp, OTAs, doesn't matter. Consistency was where he thrived. He is at 50% in his field goals. He has 100% in his extra points. I'm really disappointed in Blake Grupe because the fact that he's missed from 36 and 40 is very, very upsetting. He needs to be better. And if you want to be a starting kicker in the National Football League, you're going to have to be able to make 30 and 40-yard field goals. Call me crazy. I can't go and do that. But call me crazy for saying you should be able to if you're a starting kicker in the National Football League. I'm a fan of Blake Grupe. I like him. I think he's a great dude. But, what are we doing? You got to make him. And here's the problem. If you did want to start Charlie Smyth, I even think that that's kind of a risk because Charlie Smyth does have a hell of a leg. For what it's worth, he has a massive, massive boot. He can kick the ball far as hell. But consistency and accuracy, that's where he struggles. And if Blake Grupe was the better of the two, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't really feel like there's a great option to put, or it doesn't feel like it makes a lot of sense to put in Charlie Smyth if he was the lesser of the two. Not saying Charlie Smyth doesn't deserve an opportunity, but he lost the kicker battle, and he hasn't been consistent enough to be a starter. And so trotting that out there, I don't think would massively fix things right away. And you could also say, well, let's look to free agency. Well, guess what? Not many options. Not many good options out there. Sure, you could go and poach a kicker off another team's practice squad. That is an option that you could potentially go and look. But right now, I think the two options are Blake Grupe, figure it out, or go poach somebody off a practice squad, and I don't necessarily feel overly confident about that. I really think that Blake Grupe needs to just figure it out, be more consistent, and get rid of the yips, because clearly he's got it going on right now. So pick a kicker. Which one of these two should be starting in week 3 against the Seattle Seahawks? Type Blake, type Charlie, get in the comment section. Which one of these two should be the starting kicker? Overreaction number 3. Spencer Rattler is the guy. We're going to get into this. I'm going to give you notes. I'm going to give you stats. I'm going to give you information. But really quick, we would not be able to do today's episode of Saints Now by Chat Sports if it weren't for our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I, we make decisions every single day. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the whole wide world. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks also offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. It also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. For Monday Night Football tonight, I am going with the more passing yards on Baker Mayfield. Really think that Buccaneers offense is still pretty solid. I like Emeka Egbuka. More on his receiving yards. I feel like that's a little bit low. He's a sneaky good player. I thought that was an excellent draft pick by the Bucs, and I hate that they got him. And then I'm going to go Dare Ogunbowale for more than half a reception. Just got to get one catch. Come on now. One of the 2 leading backs in Houston. I think that could definitely happen. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down my cheddar right here. You can do the same thing over on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS. And you will get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Make sure you use code CLNS on the Prize Picks app to support Saints Now by Chat Sports. And we'll make the deal a little bit sweeter by giving you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All that information is in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. All right, I want to keep it honest with you. I want to keep it a buck because I pride myself in never straying away from what I believe is the truth. Spencer Rattler was not the problem yesterday. Spencer Rattler has gotten better. Spencer Rattler has shown that he could be a capable starter. I'm not saying he can be an elite starter. I'm not saying he can be a great starter, but I think he can be capable. I think he can be serviceable. Clearly, this team is much better. Clearly, this offense is much better than it was last year specifically. But I think every week and every outing we see Spencer Rattler take the field, he does get better. The way that he utilized his legs was really clutch as well. Extended multiple drives, was able to extend drives to eventually lead to touchdowns. I thought Spencer Rattler was also really awesome in the fact that he had his first multi-touchdown game, no interceptions, only sacked, was 3 times, Lope? He only sacked a couple of times. And sure, you don't want to see him get sacked, but again, it's better than where we were, and he's continuing to get better, and that's what I think is important with Spencer Rattler. He is clearly improving, he's clearly developing, he's clearly understanding and knowing how to run this team in a much better form. I do think that it was really awesome to see Kelvin Banks and Eric McCoy sprint over to the Niners sideline after Spencer Rattler was shoved out of bounds on the late hit early on in the game. He had an 118.1 passer rating, which is tremendous. He's been really good. And fun fact, Spencer Rattler, I did some research this morning. Granted, the Monday Night Football game hasn't played, so not all the names are up to date, but here are the names that Spencer Rattler currently has more passing yards than. Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Geno Smith, Justin Herbert, J.J. McCarthy, and Jalen Hurts. I would say that he's doing some things right. I'm not saying that he's been perfect. I'm not saying that he is 100% going to win us a Super Bowl and turn things around and be the guy forever and ever, amen. Again, it's Overreaction Monday. But I do think that he is doing the right things. I do think that he is showing the growth. I'm showing the development. In my opinion, he was not the problem. The offense as a whole was, though. And in my opinion, yesterday, the defense really was the major issue. The offense did their job. 21 points, I'm not going to say should win you every football game, but they did their part. The defense could have stopped some of those third down and longs. The offense could have capitalized on some of those drives and scored touchdowns and not dropped passes. But the offense and the defense and the team as a whole, they need to play a cleaner and more disciplined brand of football. Because what they're doing right now is playing scrappy and playing very, very hard with a lot of fight. But if you can clean it up and you can play more disciplined and minimize the penalties, minimize the third and longs that you're giving up, then you can find more success and find wins. I've said this millions and millions of times, and I will continue to say it until I feel like I've been proven otherwise. This team, very reminiscent of Dan Campbell's first year with the Lions. Very scrappy, a ton of fight, not a lot of wins, but they're showing you that they are playing hard and that they are a much better coached team. So I do think right now that the team is heading in the right direction. The offense as a whole just needs to play cleaner. The defense as a whole needs to play cleaner. And the New Orleans Saints just need to be a more disciplined team and have a more disciplined brand of football displayed on Sundays. Overreaction number 4, and this one, I'm not even going to sit here and say is totally outrageous, Lopez. I think that this is totally fair to say. Start Quincy Riley. Get Isaac Yiadom the hell off the field. I'm done. I'm done with him. I don't need to see him on the field anymore. The fact that you can also potentially get an extra comp pick back from the Paulson Adebo leaving if Isaac Yiadom is not getting it. It's like if he gets an X amount of starts or if he has X amount of starts, X amount of games, X amount of snaps, that's what it is. The X amount of snaps and X amount of starts, then the Saints will lose a comp pick that they got for Paulson Adebo in free agency. Basically, long story short, I'm not saying that's why you should cut or start Quincy Riley. There's other reasons, but take that into consideration. Do you want to lose a 4th-round pick when you could get to see this guy on the field who can be a contributor immediately? I mean, Isaac Yiadom was not good in week 2. I don't think he was that great in week 1. I thought that the 49ers offense was picking on him. Kyle Shanahan knew that Isaac Yiadom was going to be a problem, and he took advantage of that. And Isaac Yiadom was with the Saints a few years ago, was really, really good. Went over to the 49ers, was not very strong with them. And yesterday he allowed 80 total yards, over 13 yards per catch, got targeted 7 times, allowed 6 catches, 3 stops, which is nice, but he also had a missed tackle. Look, Isaac Yiadom needs to get off the field, not because of a comp pick or not because of what you could potentially lose in a comp pick, but because it's time to see somebody who can actually contribute and make plays on the defensive side of the football. Isaac Yiadom is not going to force turnovers. Isaac Yiadom is not going to be a tone setter. He's not going to be a difference maker. Quincy Riley potentially could be. I would much rather see a rookie in Quincy Riley struggle and get better week in and week out than a veteran in Isaac Yiadom and lose that comp pick. Like, if I'm going to be totally honest, I think that Riley deserves to get some opportunities in week 3 and much further beyond the season. Can it really get much worse? Maybe. I don't know. But I'm willing to find out because I don't believe it can be. I mean, in the cornerback room, it feels like this room is leaving a lot of meat on the bone. I'm going to be totally honest. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I don't think has been a liability, but he hasn't been amazing by any means. Alontae Taylor making some plays. Shout out to him. But, I mean, Isaac Yiadom, in my opinion, just needs to get off the field. Put Quincy Riley in. I don't think Rajon Wright needs to be totally in on the rotation. I don't think that he needs to not be getting rotated in, but this more is about Quincy Riley. And I do think that the Saints, God forbid, if something just continues to go south, should continue to keep their eyes on Asante Samuel Jr. I think the New Orleans Saints actually need Asante Samuel Jr. If he's healthy. I want to add that note right there. If he's healthy. Still not medically cleared. No updates in terms of what's the latest. He still hasn't been medically cleared. We're waiting to see what happens around him. If he gets cleared, I'm sprinting to the phones if I'm Mickey Loomis, Brandon Staley, and Kellen Moore, because I think the Saints need Asante Samuel Jr. Otherwise, go get Quincy Riley opportunities because I think he deserves a chance to learn, grow, develop. He's a ball hawk. He can take the ball away. He can be impactful in the run game. He's a just scrappy, fun football player. He's young. He has a lot of upside. Get him on the field. Give him opportunities. Let's see what he can do because I'm tired of watching a veteran and Isaac Adam just continue just to get piss-poor football production on the field. Chase Young needs to play. Overreaction number 5. This is also not an overreaction. I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. Chase Young is really starting to get under my skin. And I'm really getting frustrated because I was excited to see Chase Young back with the team in free agency because I really love the upside and the potential that he brings to the defense. But when you're not around, what are you going to do? The best ability is availability. And if you're not available, why the hell are you on the team? Why the hell are you on the roster? Why the hell are you what the hell are you doing? And I'm not saying the Saints need to go and cut Chase Young, but they need him to get on the field. Got to give some credit, though. Carl Granderson starting off red hot. 3.5 sacks in 2 games. Excellent production. He had 2 yesterday, 1.5 in week 1. Cam Jordan did not log a sack yesterday, but he did have 1.5 in week 1. Chris Rumpf had that strip sack fumble yesterday. Alontae Taylor found a sack in week 1. Pete Werner credited for a sack in week 1 as well. I can't help but think how much better this defense would be looking if Chase Young was on the field. I can't help but think how much more this team could get stops on 3rd down and how much more often that could happen if Chase Young was available. I mean, you're making $17 million a year, 3-year, $51 million contract. 33 of that is guaranteed. You're stealing money. It's robbery. Making $17 million to not play right now. And again, all the reports initially were that this injury wasn't supposed to be anything major and not supposed to keep him out on the field. Turf toe and injury recently hit with Trevor Penning and Joe Burrow. So you understand that those can be kind of impactful. This is not that. It's a calf injury. And Chase Young even himself laughed when it was asked, is it going to be keeping you out? Is this going to be a problem? No, not at all. It's fine. Hell no. New Orleans needs Chase Young to be active. Chase Young needs to get on the field. We need to see him go out and make plays because he was paid to do that. He was brought in and brought back to make plays. We need him on the field to do that. I need him to get healthy. That is not an overreaction. That is a statement of fact. And quite frankly, I'm really getting fed up with Chase Young not being on the field. Will Chase Young return in week 3? Let me know in the comment section. Type yes, type no. Get down in the comments, get in the chat. Let us know what you think. Friendly reminder to subscribe to the channel. We will be live later on today around 3 p.m. Central Time, so be sure to turn on your notifications, subscribe to the channel, and y'all stay golden. We will see you next time.